You are now locked in and listening to The Issue.
This guy is a franchise quarterback, and no, I don't want to hear any pushback on that.
It feels like a top 10 roster to me. It feels like it can win a championship.
This is The Issue.
Yo, what's up? We are back. It is The Issue. Thursday, November 21st is the date, and we have the 251st episode of The Issue here for you today. So, it's kind of nuts. Our prediction on the Steelers, totally off. We'll get to that. Probably in hits and misses. We'll discuss it, maybe even in your rant. We just have a ton to get to. The NFL looks nothing like we thought it would in some areas. And now we're starting to see, like you mentioned before we even started rolling, Jaden Daniels starting to fall off a little bit through the second half of the season. Stories are everywhere. We have a lot to get to. We're going to start with Tim's rant. It is going to be about on Lamar Jackson, and I guess just what the realism,
the reality of Lamar. Like, he's still great, but there is a reality to Lamar Jackson, his career, how they have to play with Lamar. So yeah, we'll get into that. But back to the Jaden Daniels thing real quick. One, Cliff Kingsbury. Every single time it gets to like Halloween, why do his quarterbacks turn into pumpkins? Is it because they all run around and get beat up? Like Kyler in Arizona, the first 2 months of the season, you're like, is he the MVP of the league? And then you're like, oh wait, no, he sucks. Like, because he gets beat up, he missed a couple games, and he's bad.
And it gets underwhelming quick.
Is it the same thing with Jaden? Gets the rib injury against the Panthers, has not been the same.
Could be. After we get done with the rant on Lamar, we will get into hits and misses to close out the first segment. Into the second, we will predict all the Week 12 games, and we will have the Week 12 bets on a budget to finish things up. Right now, hitting at a 65% clip, just 0.01% off of 66%.
What is it? 32, 17, and 1. That's just absurd.
So it has been a fantastic year. Make sure you stick around for bets on a budget if you are looking to make some money this week.
For the record, the sharp line is like 56, by the way. You're considered sharp at 56, which is like professional bettors are 56%.
And we are almost 10% over the sharp line.
That's absurd.
It has been good. Guys, thanks for joining us, no matter how you are, whether you're watching on YouTube, Amazon Prime Video, or Spotify, or listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, the iHeartRadio app, and, of course, just iHeartRadio.com. So a lot of ways to listen. However you are, we appreciate it. This is The Issue.
I mean, back to the Lamar thing. First of all, you're right. We could not have been more wrong on the Steelers. I thought it'd be the first losing season under Tomlin yet. I didn't like the signing of Cam Sutton. I didn't like the fact that all the spending's on defense. I wasn't sure about the whole Russ Justin Fields situation. I thought the offensive line was bad. Now, granted, they haven't been great, and I said Broderick Jones would progress, and he's been downright awful. Probably leads the league in penalties. I don't know. It feels like it. Maybe it's because I watch more Steelers games than the rest, but it feels like he has a holding call once a quarter almost.
It seems to be an issue.
So there's a couple things we were right on, but the overall outlook of the team, we could not have been more wrong. But one thing that I've kind of nailed is Lamar Jackson. And look, Lamar's great. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's got 2 MVPs. He's, as of right now, probably a shoo-in for his third. I mean, if you look at his 3 interceptions this year, none of them are his fault. He's been fantastic. What is his pass rating of like 117? So he's been great. Hall of Fame level. But there is a discussion to be had. Again, that I was right. I said before the season, if Lamar doesn't begin to win at a higher level, are we looking at Lamar's, career arc, more holistically, closer to a Cam Newton than a Mahomes or Stafford, right? Again, I'm not talking about play style. I'm talking about holistically his resume type of stuff. I mean, what was our knock on Dak? What's been our knock on Dak? It hasn't been the regular season. Dak's always been the regular season. They always win, 10, 11 games, this year aside, and I called that as well, but that's a discussion for another time. He's always been 10, 11 games, but he gets the playoffs, turns into a bit of a pumpkin, right? What's been our knock on Goff or Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers? They didn't perform when they had to. They didn't perform when the lights were the brightest. The big games, the standalone games. Kirk Cousins, for example, right, has always been much maligned for his prime-time performances, right? Kirk Cousins in the 1 o'clock window looks like prime Matt Stafford. You get him under the lights, he looks like Sam Darnold when he was, playing for the Jets, right? So they didn't perform when they had to, didn't come up big. Now, granted, they're probably not Hall of Famers. Again, Lamar is. He's an MVP. I think Lamar's fantastic. But let's not act like the gap is the Grand Canyon. To me, at this point, Lamar can't prove anything to me in the regular season to change my opinion of him. There's nothing he can do in the regular season to change my opinion for the better. I guess he could, in theory, lessen his stock in my eyes. He can only hurt himself, can't help himself in the regular season. That might be unfair, but that's just the reality of the situation. To me, he's an A- quarterback. He's dynamic. He's a winner. I would take him over almost anybody in football. But he's not Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Matt Stafford. Right? He is not on that level where doesn't matter, offensive line's banged up, on the road, hostile environment, against our rival, in the playoffs. That stuff affects Lamar. Those things do not affect the upper echelon of quarterbacks. Matt Stafford has had backup lines. Puka's been out. Cooper Kupp's been out. He'll stand in there. He'll make a throw under pressure. Does not matter what's around Matt Stafford. He's going to get the job done at some requisite level of his normal play. Right? The drop-off from peak Stafford to, crap, we have 6 offensive linemen, or 6 starters out. That drop-off is not as drastic as Lamar, who, again, at his peak, pass rating 117 this year. Pass rating against Pittsburgh's like in the 70s, low 70s. Right? So the drop-off is not that drastic for all these upper echelon guys. But to me, Lamar is the start of that second tier of quarterback. He is the top of that next group of guys. He's about the 4th or 5th best quarterback in football. But yes, I do look at him differently than a Mahomes, than a Burrow, than an Allen. I'm sorry, I do. And I think there's a bit of an asterisk next to his name. Don't tell me I'm crazy for saying he's got to prove something in the postseason and prove something in these big moments. I know it's not the same sport, but we said the same thing about Nikola Jokic. He won back-to-back MVPs. We said he's got to go win in the playoffs. And then he did. And now he's a bona fide star. He's a bona fide, going to be an all-time center or whatever. We said the same thing about LeBron before he won. Before he went to Miami and won big. We said the exact same thing about Peyton Manning before he won. Right? So I'm not saying Lamar can't get to that level. I'm not saying he can't get to being one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, because he's got the regular season resume to do it. But right now, he is not an upper-level quarterback. He cannot get it done against that upper tier of the league, the best defenses, in the best and the biggest moments, in the high-leverage situations, in the playoffs, against his rival, against Mahomes, against Allen. He's a different quarterback. He does not show up in those games. I'm sorry, it's the truth, and I love Lamar. I've said it forever. I would take Lamar over almost everybody in the league. I'd take him over Herbert, and I love Herbert because he wins more. But it is a reality of the situation. I can love Lamar Jackson, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a flaw. Like, he has a clear flaw. And I'm not going to sit here and ignore the flaw just because I love the player and I love the person, I love the leader that Lamar is. There is a flaw to his game. There's a flaw to his game, and you saw it on Sunday, and you see it every Sunday when he plays the Steelers. You see it every time he plays the Chiefs. You see it every time he gets into the playoffs. His worst game of the year cannot be the last game of the year like it's been the last couple times. Right? He cannot have his worst performance in the biggest moments, and I just sweep that under the rug. That's a massive data point that I feel like we've had an overcorrection on Lamar. Comes in the league, everybody's like, I think he should maybe try out as a wide receiver, much more of a running back. And I was one of those guys, I'm like, I don't think he can throw from the pocket. And then there's been an overcorrection where people are like, well, you're not allowed to criticize Lamar. You can't say that he's not one of the top 1 or 2 guys. I'm literally saying that right now, and all the stats back it up. Sorry, but it's true. But it's true. You cannot tell me, gun to your head, 1-game scenario, you would take him over Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, or Stafford. I flat out don't believe you. I do not believe you. 1 game for all the marbles. Got to have it. He's the 4th, 5th, or 6th best quarterback in football. Sorry, it's the reality of the situation. Love Lamar, but let's not elevate him to a point that he has not earned yet.
100% agree. And just think of it this way. If you're having trouble grasping that, think of Mahomes. Would we hold Mahomes at the place and the level that we do in our minds as football fans, as people who watch the game, if he hadn't won the Super Bowls?
No, because that is a great example because he has played like steaming dog water this year.
Exactly. But he's the best of all time because he has the championships.
But if the Chiefs and the Ravens met in the AFC Championship or in the playoffs in general, if you think I'm taking Lamar Jackson, you must think I'm smoking crack.
Yeah.
I am absolutely taking Mahomes because he's earned that because of how he plays in big games.
Exactly.
Because he wins in big games. He plays well in big games, in big moments, third downs, fourth quarters.
And that's what's valuable. You're trying to win a championship. You're not trying to win MVPs. You're trying to win a championship. That's what's valuable.
I couldn't agree more.
And back to the Stafford thing real quick. You said he could play with Puka out. He could play with the offensive line out. Hell, he could play with his shoulder out.
True. I mean,
the game where he popped his shoulder out.
Was that in Detroit? Have you seen that clip?
Runs back in, pops it in himself on the run back in, and then throws a touchdown pass to win the game.
Correct. Because he's a stud. He's just a different level. There's no disputing he's a much better thrower than Lamar. That's besides the point.
Just saying.
I'm not even talking play style.
That's what great looks like in the big moments.
Sure.
Okay, guys, that was solid. We are going to move right into hits and misses. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, hit number 1, or should I say 32 hits, because we are 32, 17, and 1 on bets on a budget this season, 2024. That's 65% for those who
doing the math.
Yeah, I was gonna say for those who need a calculator, we did the calculation. Don't worry. 65%. By the way, just a reminder, we all know the sharp line's 56, right? Like those are the professional bettors. For you to be considered respectable and sharp, 56%, 9% better. We are 9% better than professional bettors.
Another good week and we'll be rated 66. We'll be 10% over.
I'm feeling a 5-0 this week. I'm just saying. I've said it before. We just keep getting these 4-1s.
Here's the thing.
I was really hoping for a Will Levis backdoor cover.
But it's not like we're taking easy bets, though, either. We took minus 13.5 last week. We took a lot of points.
Well, and they beat them 52-6. Yeah. I mean, that one was... It's easy to put your faith in, a good team like that, you know? It's harder to put your faith in... what was a really tough underdog we've had? Like I said, how bad do you want to get with Tennessee, right? Or Pittsburgh +3. It's a rivalry game. That's a tough line to take, but we did. So we're out on a limb here.
There we go.
Mr. Number 1 here to that Pittsburgh game. I'm telling you, Mike Tomlin, right now, might he be Coach of the Year?
Yeah, which is crazy because people and us. We were those people that were calling for his job.
That is me. I literally said build him a statue, just like I said with Bill Belichick. Build him a statue, get him out of here. He's too rigid. He's too old-fashioned as a defensive coach. But look at him now, 8-2, firmly atop the AFC North. Barring they lose out, my prediction of them having a losing season is incorrect. They have 7 games, right? 7 games left?
Yes.
Yeah, 7 games to go. Barring them losing out, they're going to have a winning season once again under Tomlin. I think he, as of right now, is the Coach of the Year.
He makes a good argument for it, especially if they do anything in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, it's technically supposed to be a regular season award, but we all know that that's not necessarily the case.
No.
Hit number 2 here. We called it with Detroit, and we've called it with Detroit all year. We said this is probably the best team in the NFC. They were probably going to be the number 1 seed. Even if you thought, San Francisco was going to be better, Philly was going to be better, we looked at the schedule, we're like, I think Detroit's going to be the best regular season team. They're 9-1. They routed Jacksonville. What is it? Again, 52-6.
And that's what you're supposed to do against a bad team.
That's what... It's easy to say that, but then at the end of the day, these are all NFL teams. To me, this is what separates Detroit and the other good teams in the league. Because they're taking... Buffalo would go and beat the Jags by 15, 20. Still a big win. You could pull your starters in the fourth quarter. But 52-6 is an otherworldly ass whooping. That's another level. That separates them. That is what they should do against the bad teams. That separates them against even a Buffalo or a Kansas City. You'll see when we rank the teams next week. I feel like they're the best team in football right now.
Now, the people want to know. They want the Super Bowl, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Detroit Lions. What do you think about that?
Do people want that? Is that a thing that we're seeing out there?
It's been going around. Either that or the Bills and the Lions is another big Super Bowl that
obviously as a Pittsburgh guy, I'd love to see Pittsburgh go. I think it's a bad matchup for Pittsburgh. I think Detroit would win that. I think it's not it would depend on the offensive line health for Detroit, because Goff, the numbers are very clear. When he is pressured, awful. When he's comfortable, Joe Montana in the pocket. So if we can get pressure on him, if there's an injury to a tackle or a guard, I'd like Pittsburgh's chances. But that was hit number 2. Miss number 2. So I'm a Trevor Lawrence guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So by way of my guy, my team, one of my teams is also the Jacksonville Jaguars. I could not be more wrong. They're 2-9. I thought Doug Peterson was supposed to be a quarterback whisperer. I'm not asking him for the world here with Mac Jones, but even with Trevor Lawrence, they looked like a dumpster fire. I don't really know what the answer is in Jacksonville.
Is there one?
I mean, I would imagine they're going to fire the coach. I guess that's the question I'm going to pose to you. Do you think he makes it to the end of the season? Do you think he gets fired, period? Do you think it's at the end of the season, middle of the season? Where do you think Doug Peterson gets fired? I think he's going to get fired. I think they're going to wait till the end of the year, but I think he's not coming back as the Jags head coach.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. I think they're going to wait till after the season, but if they were to do it in season, I bet you it would be right between like the week 15, 17 mark, like late season.
Who do you go get if you're Jacksonville? You've tried the established college guy, Urban Meyer. You've tried the established NFL guy, Doug Peterson. Neither have worked. There's an argument this is a much larger issue than head coach. I mean, Jacksonville's been bad forever, regardless of the head coach. So there's an argument that it's not just Doug Peterson's fault. But I mean, you have to fire him after this season. Mm-hmm. Where do you go? Where do you go to hire a coach? Like I said, you've tried the two main routes. Do you go for a coordinator?
I'd go coordinator.
But I mean, so is this a good job though? You're not going to get a Ben Johnson. Like, who's taking this job? Do you throw a ton of money at Bobby Slowick of Houston? He's probably too young for you to want to hire him at that number.
Yeah, but the right coach will completely flip that team around. They have a great quarterback. They have a great quarterback. Like, it's not that bad of a situation to go into.
I wouldn't say
they have
great.
A very talented quarterback.
Talented quarterback is exactly right. I don't know where you go. I don't. Hit number 3 here. Could not be more right about the Raiders and Antonio Pierce specifically. They're 2-8 this year. I said I think he's the worst head coach in football. Now, granted, Doug Peterson's given him a run for his money, but I think I would still take Doug Peterson over Antonio Pierce. Let me just make that clear. I like offensive coaches over defensive coaches.
Yes.
I think Antonio Pierce is completely tone deaf to offense. I think he's tone deaf to any innovation. The defense is bad. They just gave up 35 to Miami. The offense is bad. They have no quarterback. They have no skill position players on the outside. Their offensive line's not very good. They're literally relying on a rookie tight end to catch, what he passed, 13 passes this past week. So it's not a good team. It's not a good roster. The ownership's bad. The head coach is bad. Is he going to be one and done? Are they going to give him another year in Vegas? I personally would fire him, but I think he's going to get another year.
Yeah, it's like the thing with, is Dak going to get $60 million? Yes, Dak is going to get $60 million, but should he? No.
Correct.
Yeah, I think they'll hold on to him for too long.
I think they're going to give him an opportunity to have a real quarterback. I think that's why they're not going to fire him this year, because they're probably thinking, well, he hasn't really got a fair shake. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, like, we should probably give him a chance with a real quarterback.
They're going to go draft Shedeur Sanders?
Probably. You know how I feel about Shedeur. I don't think that would fix any of the Raiders' problems, but
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
Better than Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, though.
Oh, God. You just want more noise in the building?
I mean, if you draft Shedeur Sanders, that head coach, you have to know that you're going to get fired in 2 years if you don't win.
Yeah. I mean,
because they're going to hire Dion.
Yes.
Miss number 3 here. I expected Bo Nix to be, I wouldn't say awful, but clearly the 4th best of the rookie quarterbacks. I expected him to be somewhere between 20th and 27th in the league in terms of like how good he is. I think there was an argument he's a top 15 quarterback right now.
I don't know. Top 15. He played good this week, but
I'd say top 20. He's got to be a top 20 quarterback.
Okay, so like,
so we have time. We have time. So I would say let's go through the divisions. AFC North. I would take Burrow. I would take Lamar. Mm-hmm. If we're going, let's go for the next 5 years. Let's go for the next 5 years.
Okay.
I wouldn't take Russ.
So not right now.
Oh, so we're going. Oh, you're right. Right now. I would take Lamar. I would take Joe Burrow.
You would take Russ.
I think I would take Bo Nix. I think I would take Bo Nix over Russ.
Well, I don't know.
I think he sees the field a little bit better. I think there's an argument. I mean, a Hall of Fame level coach moved off of Russ for Bo Nix, and the offense is better this year in Denver. So I would say Bo Nix over Russ. I would obviously take Bo Nix over anybody in Cleveland. I would take Trevor over Bo Nix right now.
Anthony Richardson, no.
I would not take Anthony. I would take C.J. Stroud. And I wouldn't take anybody in Tennessee. I would take Josh Allen over him. I would take Tua over him right now. I would not take Drake May. I wouldn't take Aaron Rodgers. I would take Mahomes. I'd take Herbert. I would take Jared Goff. I'd take Jordan Love. I would take Caleb still. I'm still a Caleb guy. I would take Jaden still. I'd take Kirk Cousins. I'd take Baker Mayfield. Would you take Sam Darnold over him right now?
Probably. He has more experience. I trust him a little bit more.
I think I'd take Sam Darnold over him as well. So that's 15 right there. Would you take Dak if he's healthy over him? I'd probably take Dak if he's healthy. I'd take Jalen Hurts over him.
Yep.
Would you take Kyler over him? I'd take Kyler.
I'd take Kyler. I don't even like Kyler.
I'd probably take... I don't know if I would take Brock Purdy. I don't know. I don't think I'd take Brock Purdy over him. I wouldn't take Geno over him. I'd take Matt
You wouldn't
Stafford.
take a guy that made it to a Super Bowl.
No, because I think if you put Bo Nix in that exact offense, he'd go to the Super Bowl as well.
Okay.
That's 19. So that would put Bo Nix at 20. Okay, he's a top 20 quarterback.
All right.
But either way, we got off course. Can he overtake Jaden Daniels as the Rookie of the Year? 30 seconds go.
Yes, especially if Jaden Daniels keeps playing as bad as he has these last, I guess, 2-3 weeks. The second half of the season hasn't looked that good. But, I mean, he could easily return back to some sort of stability. I'll give it improbable, but possible.
I know I just said I would take Jaden over Bo Nix, but I think Bo Nix will win Rookie of the Year. I think because of the stats he's going to have, completion percentage is going to be higher. He's going to have more touchdowns, less picks, and he's going to look better at the end of the year, which it shouldn't matter, but recency bias is a thing when you're talking about human beings voting off feeling, emotion, what they see. So I think Bo Nix is going to win Rookie of the Year.
All right. There it is.
It's misses. Jinx. Don't go anywhere. Come back. Predictions. I'm coming off a winning week. Finally. Still down big. And then bets on a budget. Again, hitting at 65%. You're not going to want to miss it. All right. Welcome back in. The issue, what is it, the 21st now?
Yeah.
Flying by. Almost Thanksgiving. Did you see that it's going to be Cooper Rush and Tommy DeVito on Thanksgiving? Don't worry. That can be your nap time. That way you can watch the early game. Mm-hmm. Eat, take a nap, and you'll be perfect for the late window game. You won't be tired, from staying up watching a good football game. You'll be well rested because nobody will watch that absolute abomination that they're going to call football. But however you got here, whether it's YouTube or iHeart or the plethora of other outlets you can watch or listen to us on, we certainly appreciate it. Make sure you like, review, follow, etc., on those platforms. Helps us out, helps you out. Thanks. But if you missed the first segment, go back, listen. Talked a little bit about Lamar. Great player, but we talked about the reality of, can he beat his rivals? No. Can he beat Patrick Mahomes? No. So it's a bit of a problem with Lamar, and it's kind of a reality of the situation and the hurdles that he has to get over. Of course, we did hits and misses, and we're about to do predictions and bets on a budget here in about 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, it'll be good. Well, the predictions will be now.
But the bets are 10 minutes.
I can't wait.
Roughly.
Dude, the bets have been fantastic. We talked about it
this week
to start out. This week we're taking swings.
It's interesting to say the least.
We're taking swings.
It's interesting.
We need a 5-0 week, but first we have predictions. So, week 12 predictions, every pick for every game. Let's go.
All right, Thursday night, tonight, Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. I'm taking the Steelers pretty easily. I'm going to think it to be like a 27-17 type of game.
Yeah, this is a Steelers game. The way they're playing right now, there's absolutely no shot that they get upset by Cleveland right here.
I think the only thing I don't love, obviously it's a short week for both teams, but coming off of a physical game against Baltimore, does that wear on Pittsburgh a little bit? Maybe they start sluggish, but I think over the course of a game, they're a much better team, and they'll prove that.
And they're much more talented, and we have TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett is going to be a non-factor.
Per usual. Vikings at the Bears. I think we're both taking the Vikings here.
Yep.
I like the Bears. I like the direction they're going. They looked a lot better against Green Bay this past week with the new offensive coordinator and the new system. But I still don't think it's enough to beat Minnesota. I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, they must have heard your rant from Chicago.
They looked better
when you ripped them apart.
Sure.
Because you called for Shane Waldron's job, and then hours later, it's gone. He's gone.
Fired.
Is there a connection? I think so.
No, absolutely there's a connection. Detroit at Indianapolis. I think Detroit's a better team. I think this is going to be a closer game than people expect, just because most teams, when they come off of beating somebody by 40-something, they regress back to the mean a little bit. Feels very, 30-26 Detroit.
I will also be taking Detroit. I'll probably be picking them for the rest of the season. Just a little
that's fair.
Disclaimer. They are playing excellent football right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Dallas at Washington. I did think for a split second, just because I think Jaden Daniels is going to continue to regress, but also they take the Commanders, because even quarterback aside, they're much better top to bottom than Dallas.
And I was going to say, especially against this Dallas defense that has been very underwhelming all season, there's not much that I can see stopping Jaden Daniels. Even though he has been getting off to a little bit sluggish the last 2-3 weeks, that's not going to continue against Dallas.
Chiefs at the Panthers. Chiefs are a better team coming off a loss. Good teams that come off a loss generally do well the next week. I'll take the Chiefs.
And it's the Chiefs and the Panthers. Say it out loud. Correct. What feels right? Take Correct. The Chiefs.
Titans at the Texans. Texans are a better team. Again, I'm getting a coach advantage, quarterback advantage, offensive line. Basically, the whole way down the line, I'm getting an advantage with Houston. I'm taking Houston.
I will say I'm a little bit. I'm taking Houston as well, but I am a little bit worried about C.J. Stroud now. Like, I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet. You asked me a couple weeks ago, like, hey, well, he didn't throw any touchdowns. He didn't look that great.
90 yards the one week. Yeah. He's been considerably worse. But then again, sophomore slumps happen.
It's getting to the point where I have him in fantasy. Every week I'm looking, it's like 5, 6, 7. I'm happy if he gets 11 points. I'm like, I need to get off this ride now.
Maybe you should pick somebody else up then.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay at the New York Football Giants. I did think for a second, new quarterback bump. Maybe Tommy DeVito works some magic.
Danny DeVito.
But I'm going to go ahead and take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both coming off a bye, by the way.
And it's Baker Mayfield. He's chippy. He's going to find a way to win that game. Bucks all day.
Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are a better team. I'll take them.
Yeah, there's no way I'm picking anything New England here. Coaching's horrible. Quarterback play is horrible. There's not a
Whoa. I was just about to ask you. Drake May hasn't been that bad. He's at least showed me enough that says, oh, he's a franchise. Like, they're going to give him another year. Like,
he'll get another year, but I don't think...
I think he's good.
Underwhelming. I think
he's good.
You need a complete reboot at coaching.
Really? You don't like Mayo? You're moving off him 1 year.
You need a complete reboot.
Stunning. Now that's a hot take. I like Drake May. Broncos at the Raiders. Maybe the best rookie quarterback. Bo Nix. I'm taking the Broncos.
Okay, I will also go Broncos here.
Okay, now we have a little run of splits here. 49ers traveling to Lambeau. They get the Packers. I'm taking the Packers at home. I get a cold weather team in the cold. It's a 4:25 game, so you're gonna get the temperature start to drop a little bit. Sun's gonna set in the second half a little bit. I'm gonna go with the Packers, ground and pound to run the football and win by about a field goal.
I am taking the San Francisco 49ers only for the fact that they have been, I guess, they have that sustained success. They have. They play very physical football. They have Christian McCaffrey.
The cachet.
They do. They have George Kittle. You have so many offensive pieces. And, Brock Purdy is a fantastic quarterback. We were talking earlier. He is a damn good quarterback. He has won them games this year, and you know it. I'm going to take the 49ers.
All right, fair enough. I do like the idea that, like, good teams that come off of a loss tend to do better. So, interesting. But I'm going to go with the Packers. Arizona at Seattle. I want to go Arizona so bad because Kyler's my guy, but going up Pacific Northwest, you get a warm weather, dome-type team, high-flying speed, go up into the Northwest. Again, 4:25, gets a little chilly as the sun sets, Well, I guess on the West Coast, the sun won't be setting, but gets a little chilly as the game goes on. Maybe there's some rain. Seattle has a lot of rain. I'm going to take Seattle at home. I'll get a better defense, a better line of scrimmage play on both sides of the football. Tough divisional game. I'll go Seattle at home.
Rainiest city in the U.S., they say.
I hope it rains on Sunday for them.
But I will go ahead. I'll take the Cardinals. Look, I'm not even a big fan of Kyler.
He's been playing well, though, you have to admit.
He has been, and that's been impressive. So I'm gonna stick with what I think is working in Arizona. Now, I don't love it. I think this is our most 50-50 game of our three splits. But I'll be on the Cardinals side of this one.
I don't know. That Monday night game was interesting. Here's the Sunday night game, though. Philadelphia traveling to the Rams.
We agree here.
Eagles. I just don't know what I'm getting from the Rams week to week.
No. But the problem is I'm not really sure about Philly either.
The last 6 weeks they've been pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like as of late they're consistent. Granted, there's a coaching mismatch. Yes, that worries me. Mm-hmm. But I just don't. I don't know what I'm getting week to week with LA. So I'm going to go with the Rams. Or I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles here that's the move.
Monday Night Football game. This may be the biggest toss-up. Ravens at the Chargers. You like the Chargers. I'm going to take the Ravens to come off of a tough, physical, divisional loss. They're pissed. They were a 2-point conversion away from going to overtime. They're going to come out with a fire under their ass. I have them beating the Chargers. I'm going to go by 10. I'm going to go 37-27. Ravens get the win.
Okay. Wow. That's a big margin.
High scoring. Ravens take it to them. I like it.
You think they're that much better than the Chargers?
In this spot, yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if either team won, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think it'll be close. Actually,
Why do you like the Chargers?
Justin Herbert, everything they have going on offense, J.K. Dobbins, I think Harbaugh has that team under control, playing really good football.
I didn't even realize this is the Harbaugh Bowl. Oh man, this could be fun. The Harbaugh Bowl. I like the Harbaugh Bowl.
It'll be a damn good game. It'll be a good one on Monday. So we got 3 splits. Run us back through.
Yeah, I got the Packers. You get the Niners. I'll take Seattle, and you have the Cardinals, and I'll take the visiting Ravens. You'll take the home Los Angeles Chargers in the Harbaugh Bowl.
There they are. Those are the picks. Week 12. Guys, we appreciate you watching that. If you want more of it, make sure you go to the website, theissuesports.com. We will have all of our picks over there. You'll be able to find the video from there as well, so go check it out. YouTube, all that good stuff. Anyway, we now have bets on a budget. The 5 best lines of the week, spreads of the week, that we like, that we could find, and we are hitting at a 65% clip right now. So if you're not following along, I don't know what to tell you. You're just missing out on making money, but let's go.
All right, listen, you're gonna have to bear with it. You're gonna have to trust us. There are some scummy lines in here, so just be ready to go. You're gonna have to go dumpster diving a little bit. Let's start with the Thursday night game, tonight's football game. Pittsburgh -3.5 at Cleveland. I know the hook isn't on our side here in a divisional game in the AFC North. I'd prefer the hook to be on our side, but I truly feel that Pittsburgh is a significantly better team. I would look at the Cleveland first half money line. I think Cleveland's going to be I wouldn't be shocked if it's like a 10-6 Cleveland lead at half, but I think it's going to be a 27-17 Pittsburgh win. They win and cover the 3.5.
Okay, I love that. A 10-point game feels about what this is going to be. In the past, I would worry about us playing down to Cleveland too much in this spot, but I think the talent that we have on offense in Pittsburgh is just a little bit too big for Cleveland to even think about stopping. Like, they have Myles Garrett. Who's stopping?
They just gave up 35 to New Orleans.
Who is stopping George Pickens? Who's stopping Pat Freiermuth?
They just gave up 35 to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Who's New Orleans' top receiver right now? I don't know. Chris Olave's not even playing. Bub Means is out. Like, I don't know who they're throwing to, and they get scored 35.
Yeah.
Indianapolis +7.5 versus Detroit. I know what you're saying. Detroit just hammered a team 52-6. Teams that win big tend to regress back to the mean the following week, and you get Anthony Richardson and the Colts coming off a big, well, it's not a big in terms of margin, but a big emotional win, right? He gets benched, he comes off of the benching, leads 2 really big crunch time fourth quarter possessions, one of them being obviously the game-winning drive. I like the energy in the Indianapolis locker room, and I like Detroit to regress to the mean. I still think it's a Detroit win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than you'd like it to be. I think it's going to be like a 27-21 Detroit win. Indianapolis covers the 7.5, especially them being at home. Love that.
I understand the theory behind it, but I'm just nervous about that one.
I said you're going to have to go dumpster diving. That's not even the worst one. Here it is. The Carolina Panthers +11 versus Kansas City. Tell me when the last time Kansas City's blown somebody out.
You know, it hasn't been that
Please tell me the last time Kansas City's blown somebody out.
And they're not looking good. I said that when we came into today, before we even started recording. So yes, I agree.
I'm looking right now to see when the last time they blew somebody out. I don't think they don't have any blowout wins this year. 1 by 2, 1 by 6, 1 by 5, 1 by 10. 13 against the Saints is the biggest margin. 13 is their biggest margin this year, and that's the Saints team who, there's an argument Carolina's better than them. I'm taking Carolina, and I feel good about it. I like the +11, and I told you I think I may sprinkle 5 on the money line. They're plus like 450 right now.
+450, you have to.
I may sprinkle a couple bucks.
$5.
I may.
You're not going to miss $5.
But no, I think overall I'm going to take Kansas City to win. I think it's going to be very 24-17 type, but they're going to cover the 11.
Okay, I love that.
Denver -5.5 at Vegas. I like anywhere between 4 and 5, 5.5. I wish it was closer to 4.5 on this line, but that to me, again, I would say 4 to 5 is Vegas telling you that this is the side, and that's the lowest number you're going to get with them telling you this is the better team. I think Denver is a better team. I get a better quarterback. I get a better coach. You know I don't like Antonio Pierce. If I'm getting a better coach in a divisional game, I'm going to take that coach. I wish I was 4.5, not 5.5, but it's going to be about a 7-8 point game, so I'm going to take Denver. I'm going to go 30-20 Denver.
Hey, and you were talking about how much you love Bo Nix, so might as well hop on the Bo Nix
guy.
On the bandwagon. Bet him this week.
Huge Bo Nix guy. Taking all of his overs.
There you go.
And then finally, last one, Philadelphia -3 at the Rams. We both like Philadelphia. 3, I wish it was 2.5, but I'll take 3 anyway. I'm going to go 27-23. Philadelphia gets a narrow cover at the Rams.
Yeah, this just feels like the right side, and I don't care what Philadelphia game you're watching, though. As much shit as I like to talk on them, it always seems like they end up winning. Like, anytime I'm watching, they always end up winning.
My only concern is Nick Sirianni is going to do something dumb to let the Rams backdoor cover, late in the game.
Because, I mean, you are playing against one of the best coaches in the NFL.
And one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So I don't love that aspect, but I'm going to take the Eagles -3. The other 4 bets, Pittsburgh -3.5, Indianapolis +7.5, Carolina +11, Denver -5.5, and again, like I said, Philly -3.
Well, we had to go dumpster diving there, but don't worry. That's what comes in NFL betting here. That's what we deal with, and this is just one of those down weeks where you kind of gotta throw up a prayer and hope that you're on the right side of it.
Yep.
But that's all we got, guys. Go check everything out on the social medias. Everything can be found at theissuesports.com. Just a simple Google search there. But we appreciate you stopping by. We will have episode 252 next week, going over Week 12, predicting Week 13. You're not going to want to miss that one. Thanks for watching, and that was The Issue.